I'm Yuri.
I'm Jake.
And we're going for a drive. '22 BMW iX.
X-Drive 50 without launch control.
Brake boost anyways? Hyperspeed!
I'm actually trying to go forward.
Horsepower and torque.
516 horsepower, 564 pound-feet of torque from a 105 kilowatt-hour battery and 2 electric motors.
Hit me with the range.
Well, Yuri, there's a lot of variations, not very easy to say. 521 kilometers on the X-Drive 50, but that's with the 20-inch wheels. It's 507 kilometers with the 22-inch wheels.
And we're on 21-inch winter wheels.
Yes, so the winter tire would have also changed the range on the 21-inch wheels, which the 21 actually has the least amount of range, which makes me think that they're the heaviest.
And this is the first all-electric SUV from BMW. This is the iX brand, or the i brand.
Yep.
And the iX is for SUV.
Yep.
And then there's going to be an i4, which I think is already out right now.
Yes, that's a sedan that looks like the 3 Series sedan.
And then looking inside here is the craziest part about this car, because we have updated our BMW infotainment and everything. We've got this crystal rotary wheel.
If you're wondering what the reflections are on our faces throughout the video, it's the crystals.
Instead of piano black buttons, we have capacitive touch wood buttons, okay?
Yeah, capacitive wood.
We got rid of all our climate hard buttons and our shortcuts, and now we've got this awesome looking screen, which is like the coolest thing, most impressive ever. But all your controls are pretty much touch now and voice.
Yeah, and then we have some crystals up here to change our seats, which are very impressive looking.
The sickest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, probably.
But spoiler alert, as a total package, this car is pretty cool, but also kind of bad.
Yeah, for numerous reasons.
We're gonna get into all of them, but I just wanted to really show you how cool this interior is first, because it is very comfortable and all that stuff. I'm gonna start with the electric noise. Ready?
Oh yeah. That's a really cool sound, like really cool.
I like it. You don't get that in the personal mode or the eco mode or whatever.
Yes, because that's part of the Icono sounds or whatever it's called, and that's actually an option package.
Don't hate it. And anyways, that speed, pretty good, not ridiculous or anything.
No, but it's quick.
It's quick, but it's not like, Whoa!
But for an SUV at the same time, like this is quick.
Yeah, but it's not like.
It's not, well, we haven't driven a Plaid, but
yeah,
it's not like a Plaid.
I feel like
in my head.
the Tesla that we drove, the Model X that we drove, was a little faster than this.
Yeah,
but
punchier. This feels faster than the EQS.
Yes.
Even though that had very similar horsepower and torque.
Okay, and then back to driving stuff, our regenerative braking. Let's see what it has. So we have a B if you push down on your shifter to go to brake regen. Right now we're in D, and in the infotainment settings we have it set to adaptive. So it slows down a bit. If we put it to low, pretty much coast, so we can change that to their high, slows you down a lot. And if I go to B, I feel like that's pretty much the exact same as high.
Yeah, so that is one pedal driving in maximum mode.
And it is full one pedal driving. We can come to a full stop, and there is nothing weird about using the brake pedal. It doesn't feel weird. It's not moving on its own like the Mercedes EQS was, even though that is a car. This is an SUV. Still new electric-y stuff.
Yeah, the only thing that I wish we did actually have paddles on this, because you have to go through your infotainment to change your energy recovery in D.
Yeah, I mean, keep it all adaptive, and I think that's
probably
like the best. It kind of knows what it's doing.
And then it also changes the regen based on which drive mode you're in. So if you hit your My modes...
No, stop. I'm going through corner and sport.
Which is one of the modes.
Oh, a little bit of oversteer.
Wow.
What? I did not expect that.
No, me neither.
Yeah, it just feels great. Rips super hard. Is it more fun than the Ioniq 5?
No, actually, but it's definitely quicker. Yeah. The Ioniq 5 wanted to send the back end around a lot more, which is surprising, but this thing's actually pretty good too.
Still feels like a BMW.
It does. It drives like a BMW. So you're in sport mode, which when you click sport mode, it actually prompts you to turn off the traction control.
And that's like the only way to turn off traction in this?
Yes, there's no actual individual traction control mode. There is something special if you hit this other mode button where you go to your drivetrain and chassis and you go to drive off support, which is like your stuck mode. Technically not really launch control, so we're not going to say anything like that. It will fully defeat traction for a very short amount of time.
Okay, let's see if I can make
let's
the
try.
go.
Yeah, probably not. Let's roll down the window.
Activate once.
That was pathetic.
Yeah, it's probably just good for getting not stuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, whatever, cool. So I think that's the general like basic part of it. Now let's talk about the looks for 1 second before we start talking about all the stuff that kind of sucks or is super cool.
Can I give you my general opinion on the look before we get into the details?
Yeah,
I hate it. It's disgusting. It looks like garbage. The
No.
X5 is beautiful, and I would recommend that based on looks alone.
This has nice features to it. I do like the big grille. I like the pattern in it. The headlights are kind of cool, but I guess after the car wash, they did get some moisture in it. But the DRLs are all right.
They're
All right.
yeah, the X5 is just better.
The badge at the front opens up and you can pour washer fluid in there. That's cool.
Interesting thing, because you can't actually open the front because there is no frunk.
And the front this is the sport package. So we've got the lines that go in where you can get a non-sport package with like blue lines and it's like more chill looks. But you are correct in the bad part of the body lines on the side. It looks like somebody smashed
punched
the stick
it
100 times.
Yeah.
Because the body lines are all warpy and messy through all the doors. It's like
Each door has its own reflection.
people complain about Tesla build quality. This is worse than a panel gap.
Okay,
to me.
so I can't attribute this to build quality. We don't know. I feel like it's design.
Whatever it is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
It just looks muddy. The reflections are, it's bad from the side.
Like I would rather have panel gaps any day of the week. Any day of the week.
And
I would
then-
rather have a door handle not work, have to take it in, get it fixed, and get it back a month later than deal with those body lines.
I don't think
You
so.
need to get this car
It's hideous,
in
but
all white so that you can't see any reflections.
yeah, this color I really don't like. But it's cool to have this exterior color with this interior color.
And the red metallic-y with the gold accents on the outside.
The bronze, yeah.
It is awesome.
The bronze is cool, yeah.
Hey, floating roof, just like the
Just like every other car
i8
last.
and the i3.
Yeah. And then moving around to the back, it looks like a minivan to me. And the taillight's kind of weird. And then if you open the hatch, you see lights at the sides because the lights go with the hatch.
It does look awkward, but I do enjoy awkward looks.
Yes, you do.
So I don't fully hate this. I do love the door handles though. They're flush, but you can like reach in and then it's a very satisfying open, unlike the EQS and a lot of other cars.
The door handles look cool. However, the function on the inside, you actually have to press this button and it is electronic. It pops it open. And because it's at the front, it actually makes the doors feel very heavy to push out.
Yeah, it's interesting. They're doing fancy stuff in this car.
Oh, they're doing a lot of stuff in this car.
Okay. So overall, looks-wise, you hate it. I'm all right with it. Not my favorite. Kind of cool. No.
We forgot about the wheels though.
I don't think anything BMW offers is really that cool on this.
No, surprisingly. Even the 22s don't look great.
But what would be the Continental recommended tire for iX X-Drive 50?
That would be the Continental Conti Winter Contact TS830P or the Conti Sport Contact 5 in the summer.
So then we did have a whole bunch of issues with charging this car.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that at the very end?
Maybe when I drive.
Yeah, okay. We'll
Okay.
talk about that later. Before you drive, I want to mention a couple things that absolutely destroy me in this car.
Okay.
The cup holders.
Yeah, they're bad.
So this center area thing, like there's no transmission tunnel, so we can leave it open. Nobody asked for that.
Yeah, I know.
Or just garbage flying left and right. And then you put the cup holders down there at the bottom. Reaching for the cup holder, you hit your arm on the side to get to it. You can't get to the other one. It is the worst design ever, but I understand that Europeans don't go to drive-thrus to get Timmies like we do in Canada. But man,
They sell this car here though, right? Just checking.
I think they designed it in Germany.
Okay.
I do not like that at all.
Yeah, and this electric car thing that's become a theme in every electric car because there's no transmission tunnels. When you said there's garbage flying, like, yeah, when we throw bottles or Tim Hortons or whatever on the passenger side, somehow those ones eventually, after a couple cliche turns, migrate into the pedals, which is very dangerous.
Yeah, I don't like that. Next thing that I don't like, okay, we got this cool shifter, whatever. It's crystal, it's nice.
I love it.
And the start stop above it, but like, I don't know when the car's like started or off. You open the door, it turns off.
Yes.
Things like, I had the wipers keep going while the car was off, and I had to like close it to lock it to make it go. To put it in park, there's no park button, but there is an e-brake button. It's all kind of weird.
Yes.
And then this command center, the rotary controller, doesn't feel as good for the jog, like left, right, up, down.
No, but
as
the
old ones
rotation.
did. The rotation's 10 out of 10 because
10
it's
out of
cool
10.
crystal, but
Yeah.
like, that's not there. But then we do have this cool volume roller, which is also diamond. I like the old one more where all the buttons were kind of separate. Like, you get used to this, but it's not my ideal.
Yeah, and then what if these like wear off? You got to replace the whole wood, I guess.
I don't know. I'm sure they plan for that, but it does look cooler than anything in the world.
I hate gloss black, as everybody knows, and they replaced it with wood, which I didn't ask for, but I'm okay with.
Okay, a cool thing is we can put our cell phone in front of that, and there's a pass-through at the bottom for your cable, but then you also have a wireless charger down there, and it's USB-C only. But losing the hard buttons for the climate and those 1 to 8 shortcuts totally sucks, because through the climate, you got to talk to the car. You can click the climate menu, and then you have these really muddy, hard-to-read gauges for your heated steering wheel, seats.
And you got to scroll over so that I can see mine, and then you can't see your left ones.
It's super distracting. However, luckily, when you start the car, it tells you to not be distracted by itself.
So take its advice, and then you have to say, "Hey BMW, warm my butthole."
Okay, I'm raising the temperature, so it will be more comfortable right away. Let me know if it gets too warm for you.
It still didn't warm my butthole. It just, the heated seat isn't on.
I feel like it was giving you attitude there.
I think so. Wow.
Anyways, do not like that part. And then with our 1 to 8 shortcuts that are missing, we do have shortcuts if we pull down from the top, and you need to program stuff there. And I program my drive recorder there because we have an outside camera, and I saw someone in an i3 coming up. So I waved to her. She gave me a thumbs up because she was excited to see this. And then I tried to click drive recorder, which they made HD and gave you 30 seconds before and after. But you do need that 30 seconds because sliding down, clicking drive recorder, clicking start, I barely got to that in time, and I think I actually missed the part where she waved to me and gave the thumbs up.
So even now with the additional time, it took you so long to enable it that it's not actually better.
Yeah, they made it worse because before I would click one hard button, that's one input, and then it's right there. Now I need to slide down, then click. So they made an awesome system, like that M3 I did the daily driving video for was perfect. They just made more button clicks and made it harder. And if you tried to use voice control, look how long it'll take. Hey BMW, drive recorder.
Didn't even register. It didn't register the Hey BMW.
I'm opening drive recorder.
Oh my God, it did.
Start, there. Like
Yeah.
It is bad design, but I understand that they've committed to it and there's nothing they can do, and there is a shortage of cars in the market, so people are still gonna buy it anyways, so whatever. But a cool thing that this does do, if I come to a stop after doing a couple curves, you know how much I love my reverse assist, right? Check this out.
Yes.
When I do reverse assist, backup assistant, it shows the path.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's fun.
Pretty sweet. Okay, your turn to drive.
Okay. Sport. Activate sport mode.
Yeah, when you brake boost, I think it's a launch.
It's doing 25%. Yeah, that's quick. It's in the 4-second-ish range for 0 to 60.
Yeah, it's a good speed.
Yeah, and like when you're already driving and stuff, like it's still quick. Like
yeah, and you should have a lot of power for like most of the life.
For the numbers, yeah, for the numbers that it
like
has.
20%ish or something.
No, I think when you get to like turtle mode or whatever, then I think it starts to kill it. So actually driving this BMW is fantastic. It just feels like a BMW, like nothing weird.
It's so sweet to drive.
The brakes are normal, the steering is normal.
The steering wheel isn't normal.
No, but the steering itself is actually better than the BMW M240i.
Oh, 100%.
It like the on-center feel is actually better. Like sure, there's no feel, but
the size of the wheel, come on.
Yeah, the size of the wheel and the shape of it.
It's so cool.
It's weird, but I don't mind it.
And they simplified all the buttons on the wheel too.
Like a lot, to the point that it's actually bad because some of the settings are now in the infotainment, which I'll get to after. Driving, comfort-wise, is fantastic. The air suspension is super comfortable. You can raise it with this button on your wood console thing. Changing your drive modes with your My Mode button also brings up personal, sport, and efficient, which also changes your background settings on your screen and stuff like that.
And your ambient lighting. And you can't change your ambient lighting to a custom color if you're in sport mode.
Yes. So right now I'm in sport mode, which sort of maximizes my regen, and then I can maximize it even further by going into B mode, and you can kind of see that on your gauge cluster, and it's very aggressive.
Yeah, but it's good. It's a very good regen system.
So let's send it into its most aggressive mode, into cliche corner, and yeah, it's definitely quick, and it's heavy, but it's compensating for all of its weight. It feels like it's top heavy, even though the batteries are at the bottom. But yeah, for an SUV, it rips. And the thing about driving all these electric cars, they feel the same.
They're all the exact same.
They body roll, they're all heavy. You just stab the throttle, you wait for it to straighten out. They're all the same.
They're all exactly the same.
This is the same as a Taycan, obviously a little bit slower.
Same as an Ioniq.
Same as Ioniq. Like they all
Same as the EQS.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's weird.
That's life.
Yeah. So like the character is gone. Like this the only character is
And the gimmicky stuff on the inside.
exactly. So let's talk about the adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist. Very, very good, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I feel like it's not as good as before. Like I have my hand on the wheel and it's still like telling me to put my hand on the wheel. Like it needs more weight to the point where it's like stopping me on the highway while I had a hand on the wheel.
But once it's working, it's very good.
If you have a heavy hand,
Which I do.
But like I don't usually encounter where my hand is on the wheel and the car just stops itself.
Maybe it's because of the shape.
I don't know, I had my hand on the side.
Oh.
It didn't do well for me in stop-go traffic.
Okay.
I was disappointed.
Okay, next thing I was disappointed by was the adaptive cruise settings. You can't actually change the distance control from the car in front of you on your steering wheel. They've simplified it to the point that you now have to use it in the infotainment, which is, honestly, that's psychotic.
But they have an adaptive setting,
Yes,
which does a great job of all that stuff when it is working.
And it forces you to use that mode because of that, I'm never gonna change that ever again.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna live with whatever adaptive is.
They got you.
They did. Just like with talking to this thing, because this infotainment's a little bit complicated, but it's not as bad as Mercedes. But something I do really like about the driving experience is the actual center gauge. It's laid out so well right in front of me. I know everything that I want. My battery percentage, bottom left, my actual range, bottom right, my speedo in the middle, and you can customize that as well. And you have your e-power depending on what mode you're in.
Yeah, that button on the right to customize stuff is so cool. BMW's never had anything like that before. That's something I wouldn't mind them carrying over to their normal cars. Because like you just click left and right, it's like the most simplest gauge cluster menu I've ever seen. And then
because you can change your HUD as well through that.
The head-up display is great, got a lot of cool stuff. And if you are ballsy enough to use onboard navigation, which I don't think anyone in the world will ever do, it all displays it up there too. And with the onboard navigation, you can see chargers near you, but there's very little information and it does not work that well.
There's actually no information. It doesn't tell you what level, what kilowatts, what's available. Mercedes with the EQS tells you, if you subscribe to Mercedes Me, tells you which chargers are open, and the kilowatts doesn't tell you if they're broken or not. That's a totally different story.
Should we get into the charging? Because
Let's do it.
While we were trying to charge this car this morning, we were checking for other charging stations. We didn't know if they were open or broken, and the ones that were broken didn't say were broken on the thing.
And right before we get to that, this can charge from 10 to 80% in 35 minutes, which is extremely hypothetical because you have to find a charger that's not broken, that's capable of that, that's actually outputting the correct kilowatts.
And what's the usual thing they say about charging? Most of it's done at home?
Exactly. But in the 10 or 20% on the road, here's our experience.
So we rolled up this morning to our favorite charging station, the 350 at Toronto Premium Outlet Mall.
That is the fastest charger in, I don't know, 100
area,
kilometer
whatever.
vicinity.
Okay, and last week we had huge problems with the EQS and the Ioniq 5 where there was a snowbank in the way, a bunch of machines weren't working. We called them, asked them to fix that, blah, 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 blah. We came back this week, snowbank was still there. The 350 was not working, it was a black screen this time.
All 4 chargers were broken in 4 different ways.
Black screen, totally off. Won't accept payment. Says the machine's broken. Tells me it won't accept payment. And we called them, and then we were talking to the person there, trying to reset the system outside in the cold. It's very cold today. And then we got to the point where like one thing worked, but the payment wouldn't work. And they were trying to connect us to someone to pay over the phone, and we just left. Electrify Canada, Electrify America, Volkswagen Group. I think all the other manufacturers need to put the pressure on them to make it work because
Yeah, every manufacturer that isn't Tesla needs to get together and make a premium charging experience for everyone.
And that was the first experience of the day. And if you're looking for a new car, tsp.truecar.com, maybe look at the non-EV BMWs on there. There's a lot of good ones.
There's a lot of great ones on there. The M3 is great. The X5M
X5.
competition, love that.
Even the 40i. And then the next station, the Petro-Canada, both were also not working, just like they were not working last week.
I went there twice last week, and both times tagged Petro-Canada. They said, sorry about the problems, thank you for flagging this. This week it's still broken.
And they messaged you back with the exact same response on Instagram.
Yes.
And then we went to the Flow charger, and there was a Mach-E charging there, and she was charging very slow, so we went in to get some Starbucks, and then when we came back, She was still charging, so we waited in the car, and then we started charging. And then we did a live video for an hour on Instagram to chat with people. So follow us on Instagram if you want to see cool live updates and stuff like that.
Yeah, then we finally got a charge. That's a 50 kilowatt station, but we were only getting about 25-ish kilowatts.
And it was $20 an hour Canadian.
Yeah, so we paid about $15 to get, I forget how much percentage, but
not worth it.
Not nearly enough as much as we should have.
Highway robbery.
However, I will give it to Flow. That has been the most consistent station, even though it's been slow and it's been the same station for the last several years. The only reason that we're still doing this review is because we could charge it at that station.
Good job, I guess.
It's like participation award at this point.
I'm charging using this Flow station right now, but the app updated to allow me to pay through multiple different charging stations, but now you can't see your updated live stats of what your charging is at from your phone. You have to just go to the machine and check, and they said it's a known issue, so now Flow is also broken. And sorry that we're like kind of doing the same thing every week when complaining about EVs, but it's like,
we're not trying to complain.
We want it to be good.
Yeah. The car itself is good. It's flawed, but it's good in its driving experience.
I think the i4, from the pictures I saw briefly, has normal interior infotainment stuff still. So I think that's going to be the actual sweet spot.
And it looks a hell of a lot better, even though it has that ugly grille. Change of pace, let's talk about this interior. It is very impressive looking generally. The materials and everything, I would say top notch.
And the colors of everything, super, super, super cool.
Yeah, really, really like the way it's laid out. It looks futuristic in a good way. It's not overwhelming. Like when I sat down in the EQS, I was stressed out. I'm not stressed out in here.
Yeah, we got the gesture controls and all that stuff. We've got this cool sunroof with this button that can make it darker.
Yeah, it's opaque or whatever, like
lighter.
McLaren.
But it's not as cool as that Taycan one with like the grids or whatever. But it is nice. Seat comfort, 10 out of 10, very comfortable. We have massages and everything.
Yeah, very, very
I
comfortable.
love that the preset buttons are diamonds.
Yeah.
Or whatever too.
Yeah, is there a crystal shortage in the world? The BMW's got the market cornered on that.
And then back to the screen, I love it. It'd be funny if somebody stole this out of a screen though.
Yeah. Just the whole thing.
God, what the heck just happened?
Yeah, and then let's find out if the visors are good.
I think they will.
I friggin' hope so.
3, 2, 1. Oh God.
Fail. All right, so cup holders and visors bad. Rear seat room, tons of room back there.
So much room. And then I put my baby behind me in the child seat because the right side was a snowbank. And there was so much room. Like I had like more room in front of my baby with me driving in front of her than like ever.
And trunk space is less than an X5, I think, due to the shape and stuff, but there's more room in the back, so
I had a baby stroller and a whole bunch of baby stuff and bins and stuff. It was
totally fine.
Tons of room back there.
And when you do have some of the doors and panels open, you do see the carbon fiber reinforced plastic, which is impressive.
So I feel like the i3 and the i8 did that.
Exactly, because they had like that cool material and stuff. So it's cool that stuff translated over.
Okay, this Bowers & Wilkins system is so friggin' good.
Yeah.
And then you can do a bunch of different options like studio here, there, all that kind of stuff. It was good.
Yeah, BMWs don't really screw up their audio systems.
Okay, back to the infotainment, the Sirius XM. You can have it so that there's a mode that the media goes full screen while you're just driving, but then like all the buttons go away. So it looks impressive, but I turned that off, but you can do like rewinding and all that stuff.
And then Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, of course.
Yeah, wireless. I don't really like the wireless. I wish it could just be wired.
And obviously we have gesture control, so you can do a bunch of crazy actions with your hands and look like a psycho, but it does stuff.
And then I did find this one cool party trick that you can do with the fact that there's no transmission tunnel.
Oh God. Wow, that was
uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, I did not expect that.
And it does have a cool 360 cameras with all the angles that spin around, but the only thing that I don't like is that I can't see the actual wheel. If I'm gonna like curb a rim, I can only see the virtual wheel. And when you curb the virtual wheel, you accidentally curb the real wheel, just like in The Matrix. Ooh. If you die in The Matrix, you die in real life.
It's expensive wheels probably too.
And then to touch on this infotainment again, our home screen.
The car is an infotainment.
We got different widgets here that we can customize. I think that's cool. When we go through our menu, we now have every single option here instead of like going through different menus. So that's kind of weird. But when you go through your settings, there's a lot of stuff loading and coming in, and it's kind of crazy.
That scares the hell out of me right there.
Automate habits?
Yeah, automate habits.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of scary stuff, we do have an interior camera. Through the BMW app, you're able to take a picture of what's going on, but not while it's driving, so that's kind of cool.
But there is a camera in here at all times, just so you guys know.
I don't know what it's all for.
Nobody knows.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this new version of electric BMW. Very impressive looking, slightly difficult to get used to.
Impressive looking from the inside, I would say, not from the outside.
I think it's kind of impressive from the outside, but like, you know, it depends on your taste. And I'm upset that they are taking away a lot of the hard buttons that I love.
Every manufacturer is now priding themselves on the exact same things. They're making SUVs, they're making them electric, the batteries are at the bottom, they're removing hard buttons, and you have to talk to the car.
And
every car.
I don't like where the industry's heading.
I don't either.
There's nothing you can really do about it.
On that note, what's the price?
Hit me with the price.
It starts at $89,990.
Canadian.
And this one is $117,690.
So overall, there are a lot of things that I really like about this car, looks-wise, interior-wise, function-wise. There's a lot of stuff I don't like. I'm looking really forward to the i4. I think that's going to be the perfect BMW electric car for me.
I'm looking forward to used Hellcats.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that too. And if you're looking for any BMW that's not this, if you want something more simple, tsp.truecar.com.
Or even a used Hellcat at tsp.truecar.com.
See you later, guys. Sorry about the charging stuff.
It's not our fault.
I know.